Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? I'm here today with my buddy John to review The Dark Tower, based off the Stephen King book series.
Yep, and the book originally came out in 1981. We looked it up, I was surprised, but then if I remember correctly, that it was just a limited run in 81, and then this version that I have here came out in 1988, and that's when I first heard about it, but I think I remember now reading that, yeah, when it was first released, it was just like a limited run book, and then it came out years later, and the artwork was done by Michael Whalen, who was the artist that also designed those dragons I have there.
That's really cool.
And he did the cover of this album. If Jason flips through, you can see some of the other artwork that he did in the book. You can see where the pages are a little darker.
Yeah.
You can see where some of the photos are.
Now let me open it up.
Yeah.
Right there.
It might be a little too dark to see, but yeah, there's several different pages throughout the book. The movie was okay, but the problem is they're trying to stuff like, I don't know, 6 or 7 novels into one movie, and only a 90-minute movie at that, and you really can't do that. It was just okay at best. Hopefully a TV show will be better. But I thought that, Idris Elba, is that how you say his name? And Matthew McConaughey and Jackie Earle Haley all did a good job.
Yeah, I said Haley Joel Osment. I kept kids with 3. I mean, it's easy to make them as
they're quite an age difference.
Yeah.
If you remember, Jackie Earle Haley was in the original Bad News Bear from when we were kids. He was kind of the bad ass kind of kid that joined the team, and then he went on to do other stuff like the remake of Freddy, which I thought, oh, great. I thought he had a good voice in The Watchmen as Rorschach. So I thought, oh, it'll be good, and it ended up being a crappy movie.
Oh, I hated
but
that.
then he was also in the TV show Preacher, which is great, and Elba's done a lot of great stuff, too, like the newer Star Trek one. I forget what
was
the
that
title
Enterprise
is.
or that?
The movie.
The
one written by Simon Pegg, where he plays the villain, and then a TV show that you can actually watch on Netflix there. I'm brain farting the name right now, but it's pretty good where he played a detective. I think it was only 4 seasons. And Britain, a lot of the shows are like maybe 10 episodes, but it's worth watching. I've been a fan of Stephen King. What's interesting about the whole Dark Tower, I was telling Jason, he first started the series writing it in college. And he kept one line when he finally, would release the book years later. And the opening line to the book, which I think is one of the best opening lines I've read, it was the man in black fled across the desert and the gunslinger followed. And there's just so many questions right in that simple 2 lines there. Who is the man in black? Why is he fleeing across the desert? Who's the gunslinger? Why is he chasing them? What desert? What's going on? It raises a lot of questions in those few words. And, I fell in love with the book. I never finished it, though, because I got pretty bad.
So much stuff.
Well,
yes.
And he writes so many damn books, too, that I ended up getting away from him. I think I only read, like, the first 3 or 4 books. But then he's also releasing all these other books, and then I just got kind of away from it. And maybe someday I'll go back, but if I do, I'll have to restart the series. It might have been like I don't know if I finished the 4th book. It might have been where I left off. But it was good. Now, the movie's just like a little bit of that story where it's like, I don't think the kid was in the books that much. I can't remember. Because like I said, the book I got came out in 88. And then I don't know if the last ones I read was either late 90s or early 2000s. So it's been quite a while since I read them, so I don't remember that much. But the movie was okay. It's worth checking out. I'm glad I didn't pay for it at the theater. But, writing off of Netflix or something, it's worth checking out. I mean, but it moved a little too fast.
Yeah, it would have been a perfect movie to see at the dollar theater. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then that opening line was in the movie, too.
Yeah, it kind of shoehorned it in at the beginning.
Yeah.
But, because it's a great line. I thought I read originally it might have been like 2 hours, and then they cut it down before release.
I don't know.
So maybe if it was 2 hours or so, if they would have left it on it might have been a little bit better. I can't remember now.
But it's like, I mean, people are usually used to seeing. It's just weird because, like, we went to see Unsane and both that and Quiet Place. They were about 90. And it's like kind of weird because we're kind of accustomed to watching 2 hour movie. Well, we watched the Marvel superhero movie.
But those movies are okay.
Yeah.
You know, they were able to tell a story. Like my, who was it? Alfred Hitchcock. Sorry, I've got just my hands here. I'm holding the camera. So I'm kind of passing in front of the camera. What was it? Alfred Hitchcock said a movie should be as long as a human bladder could endure, which it was like 90 minutes. Or to me, a movie should only be as long as it takes to tell the story, no more or no less. You don't want to cut it down just to fit in a time frame because you might leave out important stuff. Nor do you want to make it longer to fill for time. You know, just take the time, tell a story. If it ends up, it ends up an hour and 20 minutes. Ends up an hour and 20 minutes. Ends up 2.5 hours. Ends up, but you know, to me, I sometimes wonder if they try to push too much for a short time. But the movie, you know, it looked good. There's good CGI and stuff. It wasn't too bad. I always like, you know, the actors. I always like them in everything they do.
Yeah, I mean, it was. Because when he was talking about opening line, I said if I did it, I'd probably put it was a dark and stormy light, like Snoopy used doing the Peanuts things. Everyone was really good, like Matthew McConaughey especially. I wish you. I mean, I was trying to go all right, but of course that didn't happen in the movie. But it did seem rushed. I mean, it wasn't incredibly. I mean, it seemed so rushed. You didn't really get much of a sense of excitement, and then it resolved itself easily.
Yeah, it didn't really build the characters that well. But again, I thought I read originally it was supposed to be like 2 hours or maybe even longer, so they probably cut too much out, or it just wasn't that well written. What's interesting about the world of the gunslinger is Stephen King throughout the years has woven. I'm out of practice writing out. The story, the world takes place in many other stories, and some of the other stories have been adapted, but they would leave that stuff out. Like I don't know if you ever saw Hearts in Atlantis with Anthony Hopkins. That's one. Hearts in Atlantis was actually not the title of the story. That was the title of the book that the story appeared in. I believe it was called something like The Low Men in Yellow Coats. They never really explained who Anthony Hopkins was hiding from. Well, it was people from the gunslinger's world that were after him. And when you get to that, you're like, oh, wow. So I think I saw the movie before I read the story. And it's like, oh, well, they left out all the stuff that refers to the gunslinger mythos, which I can understand. Oh, it's still a good movie. Of course, it was adapted by William Goldman, I believe that's his name, who wrote the book and the movie Princess Bride, who's a very good writer in Hollywood, although a cantankerous soul man, I believe, if I remember correctly, people have said.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Hearts in Atlantis for a while. I mean, my dad liked it too. We watched it, and then it was weird. It was one of those movies that came out around 9/11, so it's weird. I had a weird mindset at that time.
Yeah.
For when I mean, like small time crooks, a Woody Allen movie that. I can't remember. I saw one of the airport movies, and so it's just the weird mindset because it came out around 9/11. Yeah. But I mean, but it's still a good movie.
Well, like I think The Stand. I think Flag is another incarnation of the Man in Black, or maybe somebody else. Eyes of the Dragon might have been tied to it. Insomnia. It's like there's just like a brief moment where there's guys look at these cards, and they sort of the person in the playing card comes to life or something like that. I can't remember. It's been a while since I read that too. It's like I got so far away from Stephen King, so I'm sure they have it online somewhere. You might list all the references to that world in other Stephen King's work besides the series. I forget how many books there are in the series. I can't remember if there's 7 or something like that.
There's so much stuff out there.
I mean, as you can see, they're not. As you can see, this book isn't really as long as a lot of Stephen King's other books. However, it is a whole series. I think some of his other books have probably been broken down to several other novels. So it's not each one probably isn't that long. Was it 224? Yeah. You can read them a little bit faster, but it's definitely worth checking out the book. Yeah, if you watch the movie, you can if it comes on. Yeah, it'd be even better if it comes on instant Netflix or some other source like Amazon Prime.
Sony, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if it is yet or not, but I had it on my list. I forgot all about it, and all of a sudden it's like, that's being sent to me. Oh, okay. Jason and I have to watch it when we get together.
Definitely. I mean, and that was around the time there was two other better adaptations on Netflix, 1922 and also Gerald's Game.
Yeah, and don't forget, It came out around the same time. So
it really
within a few, they're all pretty close to each other within a couple of years, and so I think you had three good movies, and then the Dark Tower wasn't as good. So
it's all right. It's average.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it either. Some people did, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah, it could have been, a bit better, but again, they're trying to, I think, put the whole series into one movie. You can't do that. If you're gonna, they could have made that like the first book, and then made like a 2.5 hour movie based off just the first book, and then do a whole series of movies. But it's like, what the fuck are they trying to jam everything into one movie? Don't do that. So hopefully a TV series that they're supposed to be making. Oops.
But I mean, I tell you what, too. Because Netflix are doing like some movies that wouldn't maybe do as well. I mean, cause I don't know how well Gerald's Game or 1922 would do in the movie theater at the box office, But I mean, I think two Stephen King adaptations they should really, hopefully they'll bring out is Eyes of the Dragon and The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon.
That one I haven't read. Well, that's one of the many ones I haven't read. There's so many he writes to. Like I was watching Stephen King and George R. R. Martin, who wrote the books of Game of Thrones, are based on Song of Fire and Ice. They're both speaking at some lecture series, and at the end, George R. R. Martin says, "How the hell do you write so many books?" And Stephen King says, "Well, I do so many pages per day," and I think it didn't sound like a lot, but I think he means clean, perfected, and stuff like that. But I remember him saying he would write like 8 hours a day, just like having a regular job, only his job is writing. Of course, it took I think his first 5 books were rejected, and I think 4 or 5. I can't remember if Carrie was his 5th or 6th. And after he finished it, he had to throw it in the manuscript in the garbage. And Tabitha said, "Hey," I read it and said, "Hey, send that to him." Yeah. And then I think the highest paid book at the time was The Godfather, and I think he broke that record with Carrie. Cool. Yeah, he was saying in the one book about writing fiction, that The Dance Macabre, that he says, so he decided to go out and buy his wife, a hairdryer, with the money he got from the book, and he's thinking, "Oh, great, I'm going to be crossing the street and I'm going to get hit by a car and killed." Before, I think he bought the hairdryer before he got the check, and then thinking, it'll be my luck. I go and get killed, and then there goes the money.
Just like, I mean, unrelated, WWE, they had the Royal Rumble. I watched a little bit of it, and Tyson O'Neil ran to the ring, and then if you get a chance, watch the clip. It's funny. He slips. He slides right under the ring. I mean, they have the ring, they have the apron. He slips right under the apron, falls completely in the apron. I said on a live stream that Greg from Mr. Happy, that'd be my dumb ass doing that stuff. If I ran the ring, be on there. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But Stephen King's super wealthy now, and that's why he could do stuff like after school shooting started, he bought back every single copy of Rage. Because he could afford to, and he just bought them all back. And then, but also, what's cool is he has this deal where if you're an independent filmmaker, you could pretty much adapt his short stories for cheap, like $1 or something like that. And
that's what you're going to.
Yeah, you can't. I don't think you're allowed to make money off them, but I think you could adapt them and enter competitions. Because we used to get a bunch from the Horror Fest, and at first I'm like, well, wait a minute, you're kind of ripping off. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. He had that one I think he had that deal where like he could adopt a story, adapt a Stephen King story for like $1 or something, and I forget what it was called, but of course then people still got marked down because one of the categories for the Horror Fest was originality, and if you're adapting someone else's work, it's not that original. Yeah. But if you do a very good job, you can overcome that. But definitely check out the book series and maybe the movie. And
I give the movie a 7 out of 10.
I might give it a 6, just slightly less.
The 6, well.
But I read the books.
7 out of 10. Yeah, I'm out 7 out of 10. I mean, it was all right. You know, it's average. But it's just weird though because famous last words. Because I remember I had that one. It was like 4 of his books. It was like Rage, Road Work, Running Man, and there was one other one. I can't remember. It was a big book. I remember buying it and reading Rage, and John says, we were in high school, and John said, man, I was telling how much I liked the book Rage, and John said, man, that's scary though. Something like that could really happen. I was like, this is an 80s. Like, no way that would ever happen. And then like 10 years later, Columbine happened. That surprised the hell out of me. I said, God, John. I mean, well, I'm not like you're not right. But I mean, I was really surprised that happened.
Right.
And then as far as The Girl Loves Tom Gordon, I remember buying it. You know, it's a short book. I read it in 4 days. I let my sister borrow it, and she loved it even more. She read it in 2 days. I remember her ex saw her reading. He said, "You're stupid for reading." I don't know why he said that.
Stupid for reading.
Yeah, I know.
That reminds me of comedian Bill Hicks, who's passed away now, but talking about he was at some diner down south somewhere, and he's reading a book while eating, and someone came up to him and said, "Why are you reading? And not what are you reading, but why are you reading?" And I'm like, "Huh, you stumped me." Or no, I think it was a waitress, and so it's like, I was expecting someone to say what are you reading, but not why are you reading. It's like she stumped me. I said, "Well, so I don't become a waitress in the diner."
That's cool.
Yeah, but it's like, why are you reading? Well, because you like to read.
It was weird because on the live stream last night we were talking about favorite comedians that passed away. People say Mitch Hedberg, and then meant Bill Hicks. Yep. I of course hadn't mentioned. Almost said Roddy Piper. Well, I mean, he's a famous wrestler that
right.
I mean, but Richard Pryor and also Ronnie Dangerfield, stuff like that. And I was asked about Bill Hicks because I was pretty sure he did stuff with Tool. Because there was a Opiate on the Opiate album. There was a song that I think Bill Hicks was talking about opening up your third eye or something, and that's in the song. Yeah, I remember that one mistress I had a long distance relationship. Sent me that thing Opiate a long time ago and stuff. But I remember she was talking about Bill Hicks too, and I remember seeing his one special too.
Well, him and Dennis Leary used to tour together, and Leary used to steal some of his stuff. And the saying is that Dennis Leary has been funny since Bill Hicks died, because he's got no material to steal anymore. Yeah. But I think when somebody asked Bill Hicks about it, he says, No, I stole all of Dennis Leary's material. I just did it years before he ever did. Something like that, So it's like, I think he kind of in a way dismissed it, but it's like whatever. But unfortunately, he died like at the height of his career because I think he had a movie deal, a book deal, and maybe a new album all coming out. But then he died from was it pancreatic cancer? I think.
Well, I was talking about.
I think it'd be lung cancer or something with all he smoked.
Yeah, Robert Schimmel, he was brilliant. And he passed, and I know Howie Cat was saying like he survived all types of cancer. I think he was riding with his. I can't remember the exact thing. I mean, he'll have to. I can't remember the exact thing he commented, but it was messed up though. Yeah. But I mean, this has probably been one of the most fake movie reviews ever. But I mean, the movie's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's worthwhile. I mean,
check it out if you can. You just don't want to pay a bunch of money at the theater, which it's out of the theater now. Read the books. You might, if you like. It's a Western fantasy. Yeah. And the kid that appears in the movie, I couldn't even recall him from the books, and maybe he didn't appear till later in the series. I don't remember, or he just wasn't that major a character. I don't know why they kind of made him major part of the movie. Whatever.
But I mean, this is a sport, but they have a thing on the marquee saying like spaghetti western. Because it's kind of like a spaghetti in a way. They're wearing a long trench coat.
Right.
Gunslinger did, and the Man in Black and stuff like not Johnny Cash.
Or a boy named Sue.
Yeah, boy. That song is still funny. I still think it's funny. So,
all right, that's about all I have to say, which wasn't much about the movie. I was more talking about the book, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it was all right. I mean, it was an average. I don't know. I've never seen. I read Cell, not the Cell, but I know there's a movie version of the Cell too that I heard lousy. But I don't think it got big distribution though. You know, it has it has John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson. And I heard negative things. I don't know if that's any good.
Well, I just read someone bought the Tommyknockers, so
okay.
And they're going to make another movie. Hopefully, it'll do better. Of course, as the article pointed out, well, I didn't read much of the article, but the book wasn't all that great to begin with.
Yeah. Well, I saw the TV adaptation, which I thought was all right.
Yeah, I didn't
Tracy
really
works
get
in
into
that, I think.
She might have been. I can't remember. But yeah, the book wasn't all that good either, so neither was the movie.
No, I mean, you put out such a wide body of work, you're going to have a couple...
Oh, especially when you're doing coke all the time.
Yeah. and then, like, even with the Marvel movies and stuff like that, they've been really good so far. There's probably going to be a couple clunkers in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, it was an okay movie. It was a mile 7 out of 10.
All right, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got, too. Super vague review, but, I mean, there's lots of interesting information in this I think you'll all enjoy. So, I guess me and my buddy John, please, everybody, please, take care of my legion.
See you all later.
Thank you, as always, to my good buddy John Walkwitz for being the man behind the camera on these great movies reviews we do together. I go.
Jason Callan, your YouTube channel kicks ass. Everyone should go and subscribe to Jason freaking Callan, the hot sauce king pin of them all. Yeah.